Sometimes the future doesn't show up with some huge dramatic announcement. Nope. Sometimes it just looks like a job posting. So today, we're going to look at one from the electric vehicle company VinFast that does exactly that. And trust me, this is way more than just a help wanted ad. It's kind of like a peek behind the curtain, a blueprint for the talent and vision that's shaping the entire future of mobility. Let's dive in.
And boom, right out of the gate, they hit you with this. Join the charge to build a sustainable future. See, they're not just saying, hey, come work for us. They're framing it as a mission. This isn't about just bolting things together on an assembly line. It's an invitation, right, to join a massive global movement. And let's be real, that's what so many people, especially top talent, are hungry for these days.
All right, so first up, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. The why behind all this. This isn't just about finding a new gig. It's about jumping into a full-blown tech revolution. One that's literally changing everything about our cities, our planet, and even just how we get from point A to point B.
And here's how they take that big, grand vision and make it real for someone looking for a job. First off, you get to work on cutting-edge EV tech. We're talking about solving tomorrow's problems, not rehashing yesterday's. Then you're joining a team that's growing fast and innovating, which, is code for you won't be bored here. And maybe the biggest thing? You get to actually build the future, not just sit back and watch it happen. That's a huge deal.
Okay, so we've talked about the big revolution. Now let's zoom in a bit. Let's get specific and talk about the actual team at the center of all this. We're shifting from the why to the what, and we're talking about VinFast's e-scooter team.
The message couldn't be clearer, right? They're hiring. Right now. But I want you to notice the focus here. Yeah, electric cars get all the magazine covers, but e-scooters, they're a super important piece of the puzzle for getting around in cities. And the fact that they're hiring for this team tells you they're serious. They're investing heavily in this part of the market, which is just exploding.
And check this out. This list really shows you the whole ecosystem it takes to build one of these things. It's not just about one skill set. You need manufacturing engineers right there on the factory floor. You need production planners, the people who are like the conductors of the orchestra. Then you've got maintenance and quality engineers making sure everything works perfectly and is built to last. And of course, you need team leaders to pull it all together. It takes a whole range of experts.
Okay, so we know the jobs they need to fill. But who are they looking for? What does it take to be the ideal candidate in the EV world right now? Let's get into the specifics.
First things first, the foundation, a Bachelor of Engineering, specifically in mechanical or automobile engineering. Now that's not a huge shocker, right? But what it tells us is that even in this super high-tech space, you still need that core fundamental knowledge of how things are designed, how they're built, and, well, how they work. That's non-negotiable.
And then there's this number, 3+. That's the minimum years of experience they're looking for. So this isn't an entry-level thing. They want people who've been in the trenches of the auto industry, people with real, hands-on experience. It shows they really value that tried-and-true expertise and want to bring it into the EV world. And if you look at these skills, they line up perfectly with the jobs we just talked about. They need people who get production, who understand quality, who can handle maintenance, and who know the ins and outs of planning. This is all about practical, real-world skills, the stuff that actually gets these e-scooters made and ready to ride. And one more thing for this part, the location, Tuticorin. Now, why does that matter? Well, it shows that this whole EV revolution isn't just a Silicon Valley thing. It's spreading out, creating these hubs of innovation and manufacturing in places all around the globe. And that means high-tech jobs are popping up everywhere.
All right, so we've covered the why, the what, and the who. Now for the most important part, if you're interested, the how. If any of this sounds like it might be up your alley, you're going to want to pay close attention to this next bit. And you know what? The process is actually super simple. Get your resume ready, and, this is important, make sure you put the job you want right in the subject line. That's how you make sure it doesn't get lost. Then, just email it to their HR department. That's it. No jumping through hoops or filling out crazy online forms, just a direct shot.
So there you have it. We started with what looked like just another job ad, but it turned out to be so much more, didn't it? It's like a little window into this huge story of tech, talent, and big changes. And it kind of leaves us all with a question to think about. Not just for the people applying, but for everyone. What part are we going to play in all this? So let me ask you, are you ready to help build the future of mobility?